Tonight, the best and worst of the March for Israel. It's May 26th, and this is the Ezra Levant Show.
Leave Palestine alone, leave Palestine alone, and go back to Europe.
What country did you come from?
Zionists! Dead to Zionists!
I'm not leaving the street for a terrorist.
You gotta go back on the other side. I'm telling you.
Are you going to arrest
cannot
me?
deal with multiple things at once.
We'll deal with this
Sir,
one
you have-
thing. You're a liar. You're a shunda for the goyim.
I'm look like
You're a
he's-
shunda. You know you are.
And like-
You're a disgrace. You get paid to demonize your own people. You're going to be deported one day, and you're going to be deported one day. How come the Jews have to walk through this gauntlet of hate? Like, why did you station... I'm not surprised that cop doesn't want to talk. Are you worried that things in Canada are going to continue to get worse as mass immigration changes the demographics?
Not just mass immigration, but a political party that refuses to actually do anything about the huge rise in anti-Semitism. So I think under Carney, absolutely they will get worse. But people like me won't be fleeing, we'll be fighting.
And we will never be afraid. We will never be afraid.
Shame on you censorious thug.
Ezra Levant here. I'm standing at the heart of Jewish Toronto. It's the north part of the city. Bathurst Street goes up and down, where most of the city's Jews live within a few blocks, frankly. About 200,000 Jews in Toronto. They used to be a political and financial force. Mayor Mel Lastman. If you look at all the hospitals and universities, all the wings are named after Jewish donors. This was one of the happiest and friendliest cities in the world to be Jewish. Then came mass immigration, and then came the October 7th, 2023 terrorist attack on Israel, which was like a starter pistol for anti-Semitism. This March for Israel has been going on for about 50 years or so, and it used to be that every political leader wanted to see and be seen at this event for this important voting bloc. Not anymore. The mayor, Olivia Chow, who was elected in part by anti-Semitic votes, stays as far away from the Jews as she can. Same thing, frankly, for the premier, the prime minister, the police chief. Silence is the best they'll do. But speaking of the police chief, there's something quite curious. As you can see, there's an enormous number of the police here, but they're actually acting as concierges for about 100 anti-Israel, pro-Hamas protesters. And the police have arranged it so they form a gauntlet that the Jews have to walk through with high-powered amplified speakers on either side shouting anti-Semitic epithets at the Jews. The police had announced in advance that there would be an area for the Palestinian pro-Hamas protesters to say whatever they wanted that didn't involve harassing and interfering with this Jewish event. Of course, the police didn't mean it, and they've allowed Palestinian protesters to march up and down, hurling anti-Semitic and in some cases, violent threats. There have been some arrests, but astonishingly, the arrests have been arrests of independent journalists. I myself tried to engage with some of the pro-Hamas protesters. It didn't go well. Here's a look at that. You're being deported. Don't touch me. Don't touch me. Don't touch me. You thug. You're an anti-Semitic thug. You're an anti-Semitic thug. You're an anti-Semitic thug. You're an anti-Semitic thug. Don't touch me. Don't touch me. Don't touch me.
Get the fuck!
Where are you from? Where are you from?
Sir, don't come closer. Rip your head off. Don't come
Really?
closer.
What will you do to me?
Don't come closer.
What will you do to
Don't
me?
come closer.
What are you going to do to me?
Don't fucking come
What are you
closer.
going to do to me? What are you going to do to me?
Try.
What are you going to do
Try.
to me?
Try.
What are you going to do to me? What are you going to do?
Try.
What are you going to do? 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 You thug. You'll be deported. You're going to be deported one day, and you're going to be deported one day. But first, you need to go to the campus. I'm scared. I'm scared you're going to deport your Hamas thugs. You know, I was arrested for standing over there in their space, and you let them all come here and interrupt the Jewish march. Why the double standard?
If you want more, this is the middle of wandering the crowds. I'll get somebody else to speak to you if you want to.
I'd love to speak to somebody.
We're in the middle of doing something else.
All right. What did you say? I think you called out to us. Where are you guys from? What country did you come from?
Zionists! Dead to Zionists!
Where did you guys come from? What country are you from? Why did the Jews have to walk through this corridor and be shouted at? Like, why would you divert the Jews through these crazy screaming Hamas types? I don't get it.
I have no answers to that. That's above what I know.
Fair deal. Like, look at that there. It looks like the police are going to form a wall of police officers between the screaming Hamas supporters and where the Jews walk through. I don't understand why the police have brought the Palestinians to this junction in the first place. In one way, it's definitely a show of force. There's got to be 100 cops here. But why are they here in the first place? Why did they bring the Palestinians to this juncture? I do not know. I like the look of those riot sticks. That one's had some use. I came across one man who actually has a court order prohibiting him from attending here. He was marching and the police didn't give a damn. In fact, when I brought it to the police attention, they told me to go away and threatened to arrest me.
Oh, there's the vet. Ezra? This guy here with the keffiyeh around his neck, he's on conditions.
Really?
Yeah. He's not supposed to be here. He's got conditions.
Did you tell the cop?
Right here. Yeah. The one with the peace sign.
He's on a legal condition not to be here.
Stay back.
He's on a legal condition. Don't push me around.
We have officers in there. You can report to us, not a problem, okay? You have multiple officers on the side. Not here, sir.
Who do I report it to?
So
He's on a legal condition not to be here.
Okay, so we'll deal with that, sir. That's
gonna
one
want to
thing.
deal
To
with
call our non-emergency.
It's an emergency.
You gotta go back.
I'm not leaving the street for a terrorist.
You gotta go back on the other side. I'm telling you.
Are you going to arrest
cannot
me?
deal with multiple things at once.
We'll deal with this
Sir,
one
you have-
thing.
Report to any officer on the side. Just not here. You gotta go back.
Talk to them, but just go away from them.
He's on condition. He's on bail conditions. He's not allowed to be here. One of these guys has a bail condition not to be near the Jews. Are you going to do anything about it? Can I show you who? He's out on a police condition. He's on a bail condition. Why are you driving away?
Your boss. Public actively, we cannot be taking your reports here. You call non-emergency report.
Why can't I interview them?
You gotta stay back.
Why can't I interview them? Why can't I talk to them?
Right now, we are trying to separate people, so we don't want to have further
You're letting
dispute.
these people into the heart of the
Stop
Jewish
spitting on
community.
me. You're spitting on me. Can you distance a bit? We have unit commanders that can give you the statements. It's not my place.
Why are you letting them scream at the Jews?
You're more than welcome to speak to one of the commanders, sir.
They won't talk to me.
You can't imagine that I'm going to then either.
Let's keep it going.
Why are they allowed on private property? Why are they allowed on private property?
Get off. Either get on the road.
I'm gonna get off. I'm gonna get off. Barber.
Oh, the Zionists are racist! Oh,
What's your name?
No comment.
Why are you hiding your face? Are you ashamed of yourself?
Never.
Well, then why are you hiding your face, coward?
Not worthy to see my face.
Is it that ugly? Why are you hiding your face? Are you ashamed of yourself?
No, my
Well, then show your face.
No,
Show your face, coward.
Because Zionism is
Show your face, coward. Show your face. Show your face, coward. Show your face. Show your face.
Remember when the Quebec Mass killing that massacre?
I know you. I know. Show your face. Show your face. Show your face. Show your face. Deport. Deport. Show your face, coward. Show your face, coward. Show your face. You're hiding your face, coward.
Doesn't make me a coward.
Absolutely.
You don't Bobby kiss from afar.
Show your face, coward.
You know my name, sir. You know my name.
As usual, the Palestinian pro-Hamas side brings along a Jewish cult called the Naturai Karta. It's a very fringe of a fringe of a fringe. It would be like the Westboro Baptist Church, you know, something that wacky. But they are so ostentatiously Jewish, but they're anti-Israel. They're paid by Iran, and they're here to muddy the waters, to make it appear that some Jews are against Israel. They won't say where they're from. They won't say who pays them. They're a disgrace. I chatted with one guy for a couple minutes, but frankly, it was pretty boring. So where did you come in from? Are you from Montreal? You're from Tosh?
I'm from Canada.
Where, from Tosh? Where are you from, Montreal?
Canada. It's not the first time I'm there in Toronto. I'm a lot of times there just to bring out the real Jewish voice, even people there in Toronto.
So who pays for you? Is it Iran? Who pays you to be here?
I works for God, and every Jew what inherits
No, but you were paid to be here.
Of course.
Someone paid for your sign. Who paid for you?
Yeah. A lot of Jewish people want that I bring out the voice of Judaism.
No,
That
you're
is
not.
the-
You're with a
let me
cult.
answer. You don't let me answer.
No, but it's bullshit.
Let me finish my story. I finished. A lot of Jewish people, even there in Toronto, paid for this that I come to bring out
I don't
the
believe
message. You don't have to believe because
You're a liar. You're a shanda for the goyim.
I'm look like
You're a
he's-
shanda. You know you are.
I'm like-
You're a disgrace. You get paid to demonize your own people. You're part of a cult, and you're disgusting.
How you can say it? How some people
You're
do it?
disgusting. What's your name?
My name is Ben Aaron, and I come there to say, and the name
You
of
come here from where?
to say.
Where did you come from? You're not from Toronto, obviously. Are you from Montreal?
Canadian. I don't know what you say.
Of course, Rebel News had our truck here, our billboard truck. It was located at the very beginning of the march. We had some spicy videos. I was there briefly, but then I entered into the march, so I wasn't there all day. But our truck driver reports that it was well received, and people would often stand and watch the truck for minutes because we had some great videos on it. Thank you to everyone who has supported the truck. I started walking with people through the march and asking them questions. One of the things I asked about was mass immigration. Some people are willing to call it out. Other Jews are still too worried about being politically correct. But let me be blunt. Most of the people shouting anti-Semitic hatred are foreigners. Many of them are not citizens. They're here on temporary workers' permits or international students, or they are not yet solemnized as Canadians. In my view, they should be deported. I think that every week we've seen anti-Semitic hate marches, and my own observations are you've got about 10% white, leftist, woke Antifa activists, but 90% are foreign nationals, including people that Global News has reported are agents of the government of Iran. Here's some people talking about immigration. Well, I like your attitude. I got one last question for you. It's about mass immigration. I think the Jewish community used to be pretty pro-immigration, but it's evident to me that so many of the Hamas supporters are foreign nationals. How do you feel about immigration? Has Canada gone the wrong way on that?
I mean, I think that's a broad question, and there's immigration and then there's radicalism. And I think they're two different things and they can't be conflated.
There's some politicians here today. I don't know if the mayor's here, I feel like the establishment has sort of abandoned the Jewish community. What's your view on that?
I think I agree.
My theory is it's demographics. They've just got so much mass immigration that they've changed the electorate, and now there's more votes being anti-Semitic than being pro-Jewish. That's my theory. What do you think?
I don't think I know enough about it to have a strong opinion.
All right. Are you worried? Have you given thought to perhaps, like some people I talk to say they're thinking about leaving Canada, which is a pretty dramatic thing to say. What do you think of that?
I think I have friends that have said the same thing.
I don't think anyone would have imagined that 10 years ago.
I tend to agree with you. It's kind of depressing and sad, but I hope for the best for Canada and for the Jewish people here in Canada.
If you could change one thing, what would it be?
Peace and love, man. Peace and love.
So what do you think about all the anti-Israel protesters that the police have allowed to come along the route?
I don't think they should be allowed to do that. Particularly, they shouldn't be allowed to wear to shield their faces with kafiyas.
The police said that they would not be on the route, but the police didn't stop them. Why do you think that is?
I don't know. We have to ask the government.
Now, so many of the haters, and I've gotten to know some of them, they're foreign nationals. They're not Canadians. They immigrated here. Some of them are not citizens here yet. How do you feel about foreigners running around, stirring up hate, and even committing some violence?
First of all, violence needs to be condemned in all forms, but I don't even think it's really about foreigners. I think this is about...
Well, most of them are foreigners. Just my observation.
I actually don't think so. I think we need all Canadians here to speak up. I think Canadians need to understand that we are a country of freedom for all people, and that's being attacked right now.
But when we allow immigrants in, we don't vet them for ideas. We don't check for cultural fit.
I think right.
We're bringing in people who hate Jews.
I listen. I think we need to be understanding that immigration policies around the world have to be examined for ensuring that we don't have terrorists in our own country. But I also think we have to do a better job at educating our own Canadian citizens to understand what actually is oppression, what actually is hate. I think we have to start with Canadians.
What do you think we should do about immigration? I think that's a lot of these protesters are foreigners.
I don't know if a lot of these are foreigners.
I've talked to them.
Yeah.
I'd say 80 to 90% are.
I worry that they're Canadians and that this is what Canada has become.
Well, Canada's taking in refugees from Gaza.
For sure. Can you imagine?
How are you doing?
Good.
Why are you here today?
Gotta support Israel, you know what I mean? It's important to be together.
I feel like a lot of political leaders are avoiding this event. In the past, they would all want to be here. Now they're staying away.
It seems that it's just that there's laziness, there's apathy, there's ignorance, and it's really disappointing to not see Mayor Chow and other leaders just probably sitting at home watching it on television.
I'm going to disagree with you. I don't think it's apathy or laziness. I think it's political math. I think they've done the numbers, and there's 200,000 Jews in Toronto and 500,000 people who, let's just call them, not friendly to the Jews.
Yeah, no, that's a very good point. I'm just sometimes so overcome with anger about it that I might not think clearly, and I sometimes think that they have other priorities that they believe should be on the front burner instead of, supporting the Jewish community in Toronto.
Are you worried that things in Canada are going to continue to get worse as mass immigration changes the demographics?
Not just mass immigration, but a political party that refuses to actually do anything about the huge rise in anti-Semitism. So I think under Carney, absolutely they will get worse. But people like me won't be fleeing, we'll be fighting.
But I asked people why they were here, and I asked them how they felt about this hate corridor where people were shouting at them. And I was impressed with some of the answers. People said, who cares? People said it won't dent me, that they're losers, these hecklers, which is true. I was impressed by people saying, look, we're Canadian, we're proud, we're not going to bend the knee. There were a number of people who gave me that message, and as the kids say, it sort of white-pilled me. It made me optimistic and hopeful, and maybe I'm over-consuming Hamas propaganda. Maybe I'm letting it get to me a little bit because so many of the people here, well, frankly, that's the reason they're here, to show that they are undeterred. Here's a couple of those conversations. Why are you here today?
I'd like to think it's obvious, but I guess it's not. We're here because we believe in peace, we believe in freedom, we believe in Indigenous rights, and that is Zionism. Zionism is truly our people's Indigenous right to have self-determination in our homeland. And this isn't even about land. Right now, it's about just being able to live freely as Jewish people. And that is being attacked on all fronts.
But what about here in Toronto? I mean, I understand the Israel part, and Israel had a horrific terrorist attack against it a year and a half ago. But I am actually more concerned about what's going on in the West.
I think you should be. I think you should be. I think we are seeing, sadly, an indoctrination of our young people. And I think what's happened is we've lost perspective. We've lost perspective.
Well, young people, you're right. But what about officials? What about politicians? What about senior members of the establishment? It's not just young people. It's the mayor. It's the prime minister.
I have to agree. I think if you can't call out terrorism, if you can't call out hate speech, this is hate, what we're seeing. We're seeing it here, even at this walk. Peaceful protesters, no. This is hate speech being spewed at a bunch of people walking proudly and just wanting to live as Jews proudly.
Support of Israel and the Jewish people worldwide.
What do you think of all these Hamas protesters?
Why are they allowed to be here? Why are we allowing this to happen? Why is our city allowing this to happen? Why? Why should they have to walk through this?
Well, the police are sort of arranged it looks to me.
You know what? If they weren't here in the first place, we wouldn't need the police protection like we do. Why has it been allowed? Why is our city allowing this shit?
I think it's because the demographics of Toronto have changed.
100%.
Well, what do you think of the march today?
Amazing. It was amazing.
Did you go up there where the Hamas protesters were?
We were. Yeah.
What do you think of that?
They're crazy. They're terrorists.
So why were the police sort of forcing a choke point where all the Jews had to walk through the Hamas screamers?
That's a good question. I actually haven't thought about that.
I think it's a lot safer they have that, because or else they could just be floating around and that gets dangerous for everyone. So the police have them in one spot, they can contain them.
Fair deal. Are you guys worried about anti-Semitism in Toronto?
Of course, 100%. I mean, look at that protest down there, that counter protest. 100%.
Especially with our federal government. It's scary.
Well, look, I mean, this city voted for the Liberals. I mean, there was a few exceptions. This district itself voted Roman Baber, the Conservative, but some Canadians seem to like the way we are.
Sad world we live in.
51 Muslim countries, one Jewish state. Who are the colonizers? And then let's look at this side. Murdered by Carney-supported terrorists.
Yes, because Carney supported Hamas very publicly and very shamefully to multimedia. So an embarrassing representation of Canadians.
And he gave them a lot of money through the UN.
Well, the Liberals have actually been giving them money for a decade. So that's actually no different. He just didn't advertise it when he was running for Prime Minister.
Why do you think so many politicians have forsaken the Jews?
Well, because they see money and support in the population of Muslims that far outnumber the Jews. If there wasn't a Holocaust, maybe we would have equal representation.
Is the mayor of Toronto here? Do you know?
I'm not sure, but I would imagine not.
And why has so much of the political establishment abandoned the Jews? It feels like, the police chief, the mayor, the premier, the prime minister, none of them care at this anti-Semitic crime wave. That's how it looks to me. What do you think?
I agree, but I'm not going to answer more questions.
Okay, nice to talk with you. Thank you. Hi there. Can I talk to you guys about the march? I don't think the mayor's here. Have you heard of the mayor's here?
I have not. No, I haven't heard anything.
She didn't come last year. I feel like the political establishment has abandoned the Jewish community. What do you think about that?
I don't know if we have a comment on any of that stuff.
Well, we're going to keep walking at this March for Israel. I'm glad we came. I should tell you that an awful lot of people say hello and support Rebel News. We are one of the only news agencies that covers this beat. And when I mean this beat, I mean the constant anti-Semitic crime wave that's hit Toronto, Montreal, Ottawa, and other cities in this country. Here's some people saying hi. Tell me your reason for being here.
We come here every year. It's really important to show our support. We have a huge community here, and there's strength in numbers, so it's important to get out here and show our support.
Now, I want to tell you, in about 1 minute, you're going to walk through a gauntlet of people screaming anti-Semitic hate at you. What do you think of that?
Nothing at all. It doesn't phase me at all. They can scream and yell, but you see how many people there are here on our side. It's just a testament to the strength of our community, and just block out the noise.
Can I ask you some questions? I like your hat.
Ezra Levant, how are you?
Good, thanks. How are you?
We love your work. We're very proud of you and the work that you do.
Thank you very much. Why are you here today?
Adira, you want to answer?
To support Israel because we love it.
Right on, but how about here in Canada? I'm worried about these Hamas protesters here as much as I am worried about anything back in Israel.
We're very grateful to the police for being here to be on the right side of the law and support us. And people have a right to peaceful protest, and hopefully they'll stay peaceful. Welcome to Canada of 2025.
Good, how are you?
Thank God, good to be here, free to walk in the streets.
I see you've got a Nova hat on. That's the music festival that so many of those young people were kidnapped from.
You know that for sure. I have 4 children living there. It's the only land we have. We have to stamp out our enemies, all of them, as soon as possible. Please God, we should be successful and victorious. No more Hamas and no more Hezbollah and no more Houthis and no more Iran. The writing is on the wall. Please God, they should all disappear.
But I've seen just a block down there, a lot of Hamas supporters right here in Toronto.
They have to do something. They're losers. All the time, they're losers. They have to do something. And whenever we are protesting, they come and be against us. They are against us. They don't know what's better. They don't believe that we are entitled to a land, one land of our own, historically, for the last thousands of years. They don't believe it because they're miseducated, unfortunately.
I don't think they're miseducated. I think they believe in ideology that is a supremacist ideology. I don't think it's education. I think they believe it.
Unfortunately, they are taught from their mother's milk that if one gun can kill 2 Israelis, guess how many guns are needed for 8 Israelis? They are taught in school to hate us. Unfortunately, it stems from the Quran itself.
Now, some people are demoralized. In fact, I've heard some Jews talk about leaving Canada. What do you make of that?
I mean, everyone can make their own decision. I don't, blame anyone. There's,
Like right there, there's a masked man in the Hamas style just walking through here. I suppose it's a freedom thing, but it's astonishing to me. I just am surprised by that.
Not surprised. They don't want to show their faces. I think there's good reason for that. I think they're, there's police presence everywhere. So, it's not that surprising that people on that side are not, they don't want to show their faces.
I tried to talk to some senior officers about their policing, why they basically narrowed it and made Jews walk through a gauntlet of hate. Every time I tried to talk to a cop, they ran away. They bravely ran away. Excuse me. They bravely ran away. Is there someone I can talk to? I'm just curious why you would make the Jews walk through this shouting block. Like, that just seems so weird. Is there someone I can talk to? What? Call the headquarters. What phone number?
Communications about this. I have a body camera just to let you know.
Okay, I've got a camera too. I'm just saying hello. I'm trying to understand what's going on, officer.
I respect that. You just speak with our corporate community.
Yeah, none of them wanted. None of them seem. Well, PLT. Where would I find one of them?
There's 2 in the crowd over there. They would just move.
And do they have some sort of marking? It says liaison. Is that them?
Yes.
All right. I just find it really weird that you're sort of marshaling the haters in this narrow bandwidth that the Jews have to walk through. I think that's crazy. I don't think it's good policing. How come the Jews have to walk through this gauntlet of hate? Like, why did you station... I'm not surprised that that cop doesn't want to talk.
Resistance! 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 Resistance!
Excuse me, you got some gray hair like me. How come the Jews have to walk through this corridor of hatred? How come they have to walk through all the screaming Hamas supporters?
I'm not going to answer any questions. If you want, you can speak to the other officer in charge.
He ran away.
Did he?
Yeah,
He's the man to speak with, not me.
he bravely ran away.
Oh, really? No, I'm not the person to speak with.
I'll try and talk to him again, but I don't think he's got a good answer.
Well, he's a busy guy.
Oh, sure he is. All right. All right.
Down with the occupation! We will stop till liberation! We will stop till liberation!
Are you off your call now?
No, I'm not.
Who can I talk to? Is there someone I can talk
For
to?
communication.
Where, are they here on the ground?
I don't know.
You don't know? Then how can I talk to them? Why are you walking away from me?
I need this private call.
You got some gray hair like me. I'm trying to get a cop to explain why the Jews have to walk through this corridor of hate. Do you know why? And your boss won't talk to me. Everyone tells me to talk to him. Well, who will talk to me? You don't know. That said, I do feel better. I feel better seeing tens of thousands of people stand with Israel. To hell with the politicians, and to hell with these rough and tumble losers who are paid to counter-protest them. The Natsharite Kartai fake Jews are paid to protest. The pro-Hamas protesters are paid to protest. It's still a protest and it's still unsettling. It normalizes anti-Semitism. And as we saw last week in Washington, D.C., with the murder of 2 Jews outside a Jewish museum, there is a vector that goes from demonizing and dehumanizing Jews to killing Jews. We've seen that. That's one of the things Hamas does. I talked to one lady and she says, look, Canada's a place of free speech. She actually wasn't against the Hamas protesters. Look at her. You know, up ahead, there's about 100 Hamas protesters. In fact, you can see some of their flags already. Why do you think the police have not kept them away?
It's a great question. I mean, they are welcome to freedom of speech as long as there's no violence. Let them.
Let them right into, right into the heart of the Jewish community and the Jewish march. It's sort of odd to me that the police have channeled the Jewish march right through this gauntlet of screaming. Like I find it.
My understanding is there's designated areas, and we will never be afraid. We will never be afraid.
Well, you've got the right attitude, I think, free speech and not being afraid. But it's not just words, though. There's been a sort of a crime wave the last year and a half against Jews.
Oh, that's for darn sure, yeah. And we won't be intimidated into not fighting for what we believe in and for who we are. More important.
You know, I admire her belief in freedom of speech, and I believe it too. I don't think that being anti-Semitic or being racist in itself should be a crime. I really don't. But it's so often accompanied by intimidation, harassment, trespass, assault, threats, and as we've seen, fire bombings, shootings. And I think the police turn a blind eye, and there's 2-tiered policing. I myself was arrested just over there in January for standing too close to the pro-Hamas protesters. I was arrested there. And yet these 100 pro-Hamas protesters not only are not arrested, they have a police escort. Do you see what I mean by 2-tier policing? There are so many police here, they could have dispatched that crowd in minutes had they wanted to. But they don't want to. The chief doesn't want to. The mayor doesn't want to. The premier doesn't want to. And the new prime minister doesn't want to. I'll tell you what, though, Rebel News will continue to report this story and fight back the best we know how. For more, visit our website, CanadaStandsWithIsrael.com. Thanks for joining us.